Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different. It's been great though. Coming back into to any type of team training environment is something that it was nice to have the break from it. I must say, but the break was plenty long, so we're getting back into the thick of things now. We're doing it in stages, which is the right way to go for everyone, really, to make sure we're all as safe as possible. But also from a rugby perspective, for our kind of physical fitness, we've been off for so long that the right way to do is build into it nicely. And I think that we've got the balance really good at Munster anyway. So we're getting there. We're working hard, and we're starting to get close to games, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has, and there's a lot of uncertainty out there over the last while. There's a lot of speculation about what is the season going to finish? Are we what way is there? Or obviously the Australian tour has been cancelled. It's meant to be. I think we would have been finished there now. What does the November look like? There's just so many questions that were being thrown around, and to have a bit of clarity now, with albeit we know factually, unless something goes wrong, that we're going to be playing Leinster on the 22nd. We're going to be playing Connacht on the 30th, I think it is. And then there's a semi-final and a Pro 14 final that we want to be involved in. So after that, there's kind of we have a general idea of how things are going to look, but that's our main focus at the moment. And it's obviously a kind of short-term focus, but it's exciting because within 4 games or within 3 games, we could be in a final. In 4 games, you have a trophy. So that's the outcome, but the process is what we're concerned about. We obviously want to know where we want to get to, being the outcome of a trophy, but the process is what you do every day and how you get yourself there. Not overthinking the destination, but getting the journey right, and the little bits and pieces that are required to get us to where we want. Yeah, so yeah, it gave you a chance to reevaluate Everton. Really, I suppose it was a long time of. It kind of seems like it went quick, but when you're in it, it went long. I don't know if you agree or not, but that's kind of, I almost can't even remember it in a way, because it all, like, since March, we're in nearly August now, and the time is just all congested into one big kind of mad time. So yeah, time to recover, time to put the feet up, time to trying to kind of get your head around what was going on, and then the reflection came for different lads at different points. And for me, it was a nice time to kind of look back on what had gone really well over the last couple of years, more so than the last couple of years, the last kind of five odd years that I'd kind of started to take an upward trajectory in my career, and why that was, and reaffirming why that was, kind of reflecting on what could be done better, how could I add to a team more, and the fact that I was probably very focused on my own singular performance, obviously amongst the team and being a cog in the wheel, but I was very, very focused on getting the best out of myself, and which is the right thing to do, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely going to stick with that, but probably having a broader outlook on things, and how can I affect the guys around me, and how can I help the guys around me, how can I learn from the guys around me more, and just be more open to growing and having a more connected team, I suppose, and playing a bigger role in that. Do you know what? Some days I'd be flat out, but I wouldn't know what I did. It was one of those ones where, now, I was terrible, man, for chilling in the morning. So going down, making a cup of tea, letting the dog out, and chilling in bed, having a read, having a flick on the phone, might fall asleep again. So sometimes I wouldn't surface till I won't even tell you what time it was. But yeah, you just stay busy. Like, I'd always do that bit of training. Bring the dog out for a walk. I'd probably go out on our own walk, sitting in the back garden reading. But I'm a big reader, so read a lot of books, watched a lot of Netflix, did a lot of cooking, tried to cook a load of new dishes to just change it up. Going to the shops, you'd be an autopilot. You just pick up what you know, like the meat, the veg, the chicken curries, the standard ones that I could do with my eyes closed if I went into the shop. But looking at a few cookbooks and make an effort to kind of keep things interesting was something that kept us busy. I did There's a girl in Lahinch that she's based in Lahinch, but her name's Susie Quirk, and I met her through the IRFU. The IRFU brought her into the pre-World Cup camp to do a kind of just one of these things, just to do something different, to do a group meditation. And I'd be quite into kind of meditating and a few other kind of energy related bits and pieces to both help performance and to develop as a person. So I'd seen her a lot since the World Cup. I've been out to her, like, I don't know how many times, and doing kind of meditative sessions, and helped me out with various things. And so she had a course, an online Zoom course that I did during the lockdown, which was brilliant. It was something different. Actually, gone away from a lot of meditating, because the way I kind of frame it at the moment is I'd use a lot of stuff based on performance. So if I kind of have a weekly schedule that I set out as my best practice weekly schedule, and use that to dovetail into performance on the weekend, which is quite taxing. You're up earlier than you need to be, and you're reading stuff, and you're kind of journaling stuff, and you're kind of taking a more holistic approach to performance. So I'd taken my foot off the gas a lot with that in lockdown, which I thought was the right thing to do, and I think it was the right thing to do now even. But just getting back on board with that stuff, and not letting it go too far. So there was kind of plenty of different things that you did, but a lot of it was just taking a handy, enjoying time at home, my fiance and my dog Sadie, and just kind of obviously keeping up to date with what's going on outside, and hoping it's going to pass. Yeah, I feel good about it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be different. There's no two ways about that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be 15 versus 15 on the pitch, and we're going to be going for each other. And I've got some great friends to play with Leinster, and I've a massive amount of respect for Leinster as a rugby team, and obviously played with them before as well. They're one of the world leading rugby teams and organisations, and they've got great fellas in there, great coaches, great players. But I feel like now we're not far off where we want to be. We're building nicely. Hopefully a few things fall our way, and keep some important guys fit at the right times, and mesh in a few of the new guys. And there's Steve Larkham's obviously. It's our first time fully working with him, and not being kind of just thrown into the mid-season of what we were last year post World Cup. So hopefully there's a few things that are hopefully going to fall in place that maybe went against us last year a bit. Now I'm not shifting any type of making any excuses. We weren't good enough at key times, but it is important to have the right environment and the right amount of time to bed in with new coaches, which we didn't have. So I'm really hopeful and excited that this break is going to give us a bit of an advantage, especially considering that we were kind of playing catch up a bit for the majority of last season. Yeah, the football was a bit strange, wasn't it, at the start? Where they hadn't made any effort, or they just probably didn't know to put the kind of banners and where the cameras were going to catch, and no noise, you could hear everything. So that was that sucked the energy out of you, I thought. I think that was they were first back, wasn't it? The German league, and that they were, in fairness, they were the first probably sport in the world. Actually, sorry, I'm a big UFC fan, so I've been watching that. So they've been back for ages. Dana White's a lunatic, and he got it done, and they're in Abu Dhabi, and I remember where they were. Florida. They were in Florida first, and that was. Do you know what? It's not perfect, but it's better. It's better than not having it on. And I think the organizations and broadcasters are probably learning how to package it as best possible. So putting those in football matches, putting those banners down pitch side, so it just you're not looking at empty seats, a bit of crowd noise, even though it's not real. It brings you to as close as you possibly can. So again, not the perfect world, but I think people are learning and adapting quite well, and you're doing the best you can. We'll see. We will see. I suppose it was the home crowd counts for a lot. There's no getting away from that. But it's not all the crowd. It's the advantage of the small advantages of staying in your own bed the night before you play. being in a comfortable environment the day of the game, and not obviously usually we'd be in a hotel environment which is comfortable within itself, but it's not your normal day-to-day environment. You're just all these little things eating in a hotel where you don't spend obviously a lot of time. All these little small differences, in my opinion, are why this home and away advantage is so relevant, because at the end of the day we're both on a rugby pitch that is the same shape and size for us both. Obviously you'll take, sometimes you'll get unfavorable conditions one half to the next, and that does happen, but that's a rarity as opposed to something that's standard. So it's trying to see why does home and away advantage traditionally matter so much. Crowd is 100% a big role in it. Obviously the referees being human and being swayed by cheers and noise is potentially another thing, but the other side will be, as I touched on, there's the small changes to your daily schedule that you wouldn't be used to. And I think as you get a bit more experienced and you grow older and you realize maybe a few of these things, that once you become aware of them, they become less relevant, I think, in a way, because you go, okay, well, that's potentially a reason that you're staying in a bed that you're staying in somewhere that you're not completely used to. You've got a roommate where you usually be asleep at home with your missus, all these things. But when you're aware of them, you make your peace with them and then go on. You know what I mean? If you're like, oh, I'm not feeling great today. Why am I not feeling great today? It's because I slept poorly. It's because I didn't enjoy. There was nothing at breakfast that I liked. You just have to. These are things that are a reality, and once you accept them and make the best out of them, then they become less relevant in an away situation. Yeah, again, we'll see. That's quite possibly, but there's also still the small advantage of what we just discussed. So I'm sure there'll be interesting stats to come out after a couple of months of it, or hopefully there's not that long of the no fan games, but I'm sure there'll be different studies and stuff put next to each other on the home wins and away wins and the likes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we want to be back playing. We want to be playing. Obviously, first and foremost, you want to be playing for your province. You want to be playing well for your province, and all gone well, winning trophies for your province at a strange time of the year. And then there's nothing better than international rugby. It's the biggest honor you can come singing the national anthem is just so special, and then going out to represent yourself and your family and your province and your friends and everything is just it's an amazing thing. So the more rugby the better from our side of things, and then obviously it's not my job to do the managing, but the management and the strength and conditioning coaches and the medical staff will be hard at work trying to put plans in place for each individual player to make sure we want to work, but we also need guys to not be overworked. And the RFU are probably the best in the business of that, and that's one of the reasons that so many guys stay on whenever there's opportunities to go abroad, where we're really well looked after. So I think I've got big confidence in the guys who make those decisions to keep making the right ones. Yeah, it was a mixed bag, I suppose. I thought we got a really tough time from outside voices for the Scottish win. It was I suppose it's very different when you're a player and you're in it and you're playing, and you know how tough it is and you know how good another team is, even though the perception is that they're not as strong, and it's a home game and everyone kind of writes that week we were going to smash Scotland according to everyone, you know what I mean? And it ended up being a tight game. Scotland came and played really well. Like they were, can underestimate how well they played, and we didn't play amazing, but it was our first game under Faz, first game after a disappointing World Cup, and we showed a lot of character, had a bit of luck along the way, but we weren't brilliant, but we definitely weren't as poor as people were saying. Then the following week we had a good performance against Wales, went pretty well. We weren't perfect again, and after that we were the best team in the world according to some places. And then you go out and you get beaten by a really strong English team who are up there with one of the best teams in the world in Twickenham. Now, we didn't play well. I'm not absolutely disputing that, but you got to take all these things with a pinch of salt from what's said, because people like to blow us up whenever we're going well. They like to tear us down. when we're going poorly. And you just have to, from a player's perspective and being around the squad, you just need to maintain a level of balance that you understand when you could have done better. You understand when you didn't do as good as you could, and you need to be better. You also understand that when things go well, you're not as good as they say you are when you get a good win and everyone's patting you on the back. And that's probably your most dangerous time to start believing those things and think you're the man, or you're the finished article, and then you'll get stung the next game. So from a personal perspective, I thought we went pretty well. Work to do, but really excited with the people that we're working with, and the guys you'll be playing next to, and the coaching staff who are new and exciting. And Andy Farrell is an amazing character, and I think he's going to, over the next while, we're all going to see how influential a rugby man he is, and what he brings to a team. Not just how in terms of how he physically prepares the rugby, but the environment he creates, and the way he goes about his business, and the balance he has to go hard when it's time to go hard, and taper off and have a bit of crack. He's definitely out there on his own in terms of how he runs a ship like that. So I'm very excited for hopefully to get back in there and get stuck in.